Hello and welcome to Respect the Ball. It's your boy K back again with these previews on Group F for on Sweden. So yeah, guys, as always, if you're gonna enjoy this content, please like, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Drop down a comment and share this channel. So guys, yeah, let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah, guys, we are on the Sweden in Group F, managed by the Englishman Graham Potter. Let me quickly touch on him before we go and dissect the lineups. I want to get you guys in another here, guys, with these previews. As I'm recording this, the Dutch are about to start, so I am behind schedule. Please excuse the background noise; it can't be helped. Had a hectic week and it's a Sunday. But yeah, let me touch on the manager. Graham Potter. The Englishman. I quite like him. I like him a lot. I think he was given an unfair chance. I think at West Ham. Did a good job at Brighton and flopped at Chelsea. He's always going to be judged by that Chelsea job that he got. But he's a solid enough manager. Look at what he's done for Sweden. Sweden was nowhere, lost in their qualifiers. Not winning any games. They were coached by Jan Dahl Thomason. He cost them a lot. And now they got Graham Potter, and he got them to the qualifiers. Got Jokeres. I think so. Jokeres got a hat trick. That was key for them. He's got them playing. He's got them in a system which you know gives them the best way to win games for them. It works for them. In the system, and that also ties into the lineup. Sorry for that. That also ties in for the lineup. Let me pull up the lineups real quick. When I pull up the lineups, you have here in the lineups. You have obviously in goal, you have thingy Nordfeld. Very experienced Nordfeld. Experienced goalkeeper. I want to touch on the three at the back. Three at the back with Laga Bielka, Victor Lindelof, obviously from Man United, and Kasper Hein from Atalanta. Solid. The experience of their captain Victor Lindelof. You know, not fairly judged at Man United. People, dismissive towards the end. Not forgetting what he done for the club. And then Hein, has done one for Atalanta and Atalanta under Gasparini. I know now they're playing a different man, but he was doing well for Gasparini high line, so he's used to that. And he'll help Laga Bielka in that back line. Solidifying the three. Then the wing backs will be Goodmanson, obviously. Goodmanson. Now, for Leeds, he's playing for Leeds. I don't have much. How can I say this? Much of opinion on him. He's good at attacking. He's very, he's an average fullback. A steady Eddie really at fullback, and then in the midfield, this will be where I think they'll be a little bit weak. And that's in this group, I think that way they'll fall short. They have obviously Ayari, who's a highly touted midfielder, silky. We have watched him for Brighton quite a few times. He is silky, but he lacks that that strength in the midfield. I know that's offered by Karlstrom, who I also have on here, Karlstrom. But then I think, maybe Ayari helps them, progress upfield, and then Custom does the dirty work. We'll see that later on. And obviously the three, they'll have Ninkren playing right behind. Obviously, one of the two best strikers in the world, Isak and Jokeres, not the seasons they both wanted to have. I fairly Jokeres could say had a decent season, but by what Arsenal paid for him and what he should have been, I think he fell short. Didn't show really who he is. And then for Isak, injury riddled season. Barely, like when he was playing one week, then he's injured the next. Was stop and start. The big transfer fee didn't help him a lot. Had a lot of scrutiny on him. So for this Swedish side, this lineup, it's got a good balance. It's like it's balanced. You could have Bergval maybe come in. I'm not, you know, I'm trying to find. That's why I'm stuttering a bit. I'm trying to find what they are. What they can be. Because I don't think they've got the makeup to the squad to make it far. Do I think they'll compete in this group? The Dutch and Japan are just ahead of them. So that begs to be seen what they will do. Do I think they can go far? I think they can make it out of this group. I think in their match against Tunisia, this is like, let me just give you guys what can I say, a small prediction. I think they'll beat Tunisia. When I saw the betting odds, that was insane. But that's to digress. I, I think they'll make it out of this group. The pathway obviously make it out is win this game and try not to get heavy defeats. Maybe against Netherlands and Japan. I think you can squeeze out a draw against either one. If you plays your hearts out. With the two up front, they should cause anyone problem. And I wouldn't be surprised if this team actually goes out and pulls out because I trust Graham Potter to do so. Pulls out and maybe gets first and shocks everyone or second. So we'll see with Sweden. But I do think they make it out of this group. Do I think they make it far? I don't think so. So yeah, guys, in essence, that's it on Sweden. And if you enjoyed this, please share, please like, guys, please drop down your like. That helps a lot. Drop down a comment. Let's discuss about Sweden. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Share this video. And as always, people, peace.